Hey guys, so this might be a little bit of a longer video, but I want to show you guys how to do interior elevations like we did in class. So the first thing we need to do is open up a file that has the actual floor plan that we're going to be working with. And so if you go into Canvas and Files, under AutoCAD, you'll get this cedar house plan. And this is the floor plan that I'm going to work from. We're going to do an interior elevation of this powder bath right here, which is right in the middle of the house. But I'm not going to do it here on this file. I'm going to do it in another drafting template, so another DWG. So go to, let's see, go to Canvas and go to Files and open up another template drafting student and save it as something where you save your files. We will do interior elevation demo YouTube for this one. And I'm just going to save it right here. I don't need this stuff right here. That can go away. So now that we're here, I need to XREF the plan, this thing, into this drafting template because I'm going to be using pin 0 through 7 to do this. And I'll be on pin 5 the whole time. So what I'm going to do is go to XREF, attach DWG, and find that plan wherever you saved it, wherever either you downloaded it or whether you saved it in your resources folder or your in-class demos for this class for this semester. Click it. Yeah, this should all be fine in default. Make sure your screen look like this. Click OK, click anywhere, and then you got to go find it out in the boonies. It's over here, and we'll bring it back by moving it to right here. Here we go. Now I've got this XREF in here. This is an XREF. I know it's an XREF because look, it says it's right here. I have the Cedar House plan, which is this file. In here, if I click it once, it's all looks like it's grouped together. It's just selecting the XREF. And whenever I click it, like if I click this right here, it'll select it. So it's saying, hey, if in my XREF panel, that's what that is. So I don't need the whole thing. I just need this bathroom. So watch this. I will select it, type in XClip, hit enter, and then under new boundary, yes, new boundary, rectangular. And I'm just going to draw around the corner of where, or surrounding the powder room that I need. So I'll click once up here and then once down here, and I've got it. This is all I need. This is it. This is an X clip of the XREF, essentially a crop of the XREF, and I'm going to rotate it down. Rotate 90 degrees. Perfect. Now with pin 5 active, because when we do interior elevations, we do pin 0 through 7. When we do floor plans, we use these A dash layers that correspond with the elements. So like wall, hatching, furniture, all that thing, all that stuff. With interior elevations, when we're doing orthographic projection, however, we will use pin 0 through 7. So with pin 5 active, that should be your default. Just draw a random line. Just draw a line right here. This is our floor plane. This is what going to be the ground level of this powder room is going to be. Doesn't matter how long it is, it's right there. It's good. You need to know how tall the ceilings are in the space, and I'm just going to say right here, it's 8 feet. 8 feet for this space, and that's pretty normal for a small house. So I'll select this line, and if I want to line 8 foot above it, I can either offset it 8 feet, that'll work, or I could copy this line up 8 feet. Now, here's where like the magic of orthographic projection comes in. I'm going to use floor plan information from this floor plan to inform vertical information on this to be elevation. Meaning, I need to find the most critical points along this wall right here, and I will project it down to this area right here. So watch this. I will choose line. And a really important part of this wall is the left side of it. So I'll draw a line right there and draw it straight down. And I will click it into place perpendicular. Wonderful. I can take this line and just copy over and hit all the other important parts. So the really important part is the center line of this toilet. A really important part is the left edge of this countertop. A really important part is the center of the sink. And then finally, the right side of the wall. Okay, so these are all construction lines. Well, yeah, these are construction lines. I'll show you this in a second. We'll make a magenta just to see. They're technically all construction lines, but I'm about to trim out the room itself. Here's how we get what the actual room will look like when you walk into it. Type in trim, boom, boom, shoot through there, there, and there. And look, the pin 5 cyan, that is the outermost edge of the room. Technically, this is to framing, and we would do it to sheetrock, but I'm just going to teach you guys how to do it foundationally right here. So this is the extent of the room. This is how you would walk in and what it would look like. Well, now it would look like we need to finish that out. So let's use the information from here which is the center line of the toilet, the edge of the cabinet, and the sink. And let's start drawing in the information. So let's do this countertop. We know that countertops are 36 inches from the floor, so I can take the bottom line, offset it 36 inches, 36, and great. Now I know where my cabinet is. Watch this. Trim, trim here, here, and I don't need this line anymore. I now have my countertop, but it's the wrong color. So I'll select both of these and put them on pin 3, because that's what we draw cabinets at, and make sure that the color is by layer. Great, got our countertop. This is the sink and this is the toilet. We can do that here in a second. If you go to Canvas and open interior elevation template, I think is what it's called. Yeah, let's grab that real quick. Oh, it should be my downloads. Downloads. Yes, interior elevation standards. Open this file. And this is a lot of the answers for you already. I'm just going to snag this toilet, and I'm going to snag this sink, minus the drawer, and copy. I'm not extracting this in, I am copy pasting this in. So now Control V, put it right here. Now I can just grab this toilet and move it right here. And I don't need this construction line anymore because my toilet is placed. And the sink, it came in ungrouped. I'm just going to go ahead and group that real quick so that it all moves as one. And then I will move this into place on the center line. Looks like an overmount, so it goes on top of the countertop right there. And delete that. And there we go. Boom. So we're already doing it. We're doing orthographic projection. Now, there's a couple caveats or just rules to learn. And one of those is that a toe kick is essentially 3 inches off the ground. It could be higher than that, but we're going to draw them 3 inches in this class. We can then trim the rest of this. We don't need that. Get rid of that. And a toe kick means that your toes can fit underneath here, which means that this line right here is technically further back than this one. So let's go ahead and match the bottom of the cabinet. That's going to be blue, but this part is actually going to be red because it's further back. And we did this in class when we drew elevations. So this will be pin 2. Do you see now how this is further back than this one? This line will print thinner than this one. Great. Countertops are typically 1.5 inches. So 1.5, offset that down. Let's go ahead and trim out this edge and draw in its own line here because this is going to be also 1.5 inches on the side, and extend this into it. I can do it this way. And delete this line, we don't need it anymore. And match the property of this line to this one. Great. Now we've got a countertop that's overhanging 1.5 inches, a toe kick that's 3 inches up. Just to finish out this video quickly, let's do a backsplash. Offset 6 inches. Yeah, I'm done with the orthographic projection part. I've got the information that I need from the floor plan. Now I'm just filling it in. And we did this in class, so I'm not going to finish out the rest of this here. You can get the cabinets and door standards and mirror standards from the interior elevation standards document right here. You can learn how to do all this, get the midpoint of this, polylines over drawers. Let's see, this drawer is a false front because there's a sink there, so 8 inches, yeah, 6 to 8 inches. But the point is that I got the information to know where to put these things, to put the toilet, to put the cabinet, to put the sink based on information from the floor plan. So it's information, data from the floor plan informing what goes in the elevation. That is essentially what orthographic projection is. Let's see if there's anything else in this floor plan that we can do a quick orthographic projection of. And yeah, sure, we can do the kitchen right here or in the pantry. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna draw a line over, and I'm just gonna do them all on the same plane as existing elevations. And I need to know the far side of the pantry. You could do X lines here if you wanted to. I need to know where the door ends. I need to know where that wall ends. I need to know where the fridge starts and stops, where the countertop goes. Let's do center line of the range and the edge of the cabinet right here. And we'll go all the way to the window, just like that. Let's say that the kitchen is a 10-foot ceiling, and 9-foot ceiling is probably fine. And then I can go in and start using this information to fill out my my elevation. So I'll make these all pink just so I know to delete them later. And essentially I've given myself a little puzzle to figure out. Windows are different, cover that in a different video, or look at the elevation standards. Windows, you're gonna cut through to the extent of it, and you're gonna draw the whole shape of the window and the trim and the backsplash. A little more involved than this video is gonna get into, but I'll just draw this door right here. So the door is going to be 6'8", so I'll offset 6'8" up. And then I will use a polyline to draw in the frame of the door, and then I can delete the construction lines that informed that door. Okay, also this isn't the edge of the room, it goes on, so I can actually extend this way a little bit. And that way I'll have to put a note or a tag here that says this room goes on, and we'll have to put this wall on its own wall layer right there, and this on its own wall layer. Actually, probably pin 4 for these guys, because I want to show you that the door should be pin 3. And then I will draw a rectangle between the doors. I will offset that a 1/2 inch. And this is showing the, and I'll erase that original rectangle. This is showing that the door is hanging within the rough opening of that frame. I'll make this pin 2. And then I'm going to show the trim, offset this by, let's say, 2.5 inch trim in this house. And look, we've got a door, boom, hanging in its rough opening. And then we have trim, 2.5 inch trim on the outside. That just reminds me we could do trim here at 5.5 inches. And that will inform these lines. And now we're just having fun. Now I'm just having fun and wasting time in this video. So I'll stop and leave it there. You can see how we got the information for the elevation from the plan. Just last thing, just to hammer this in, countertops are going to go here. They stop on this line, so I can trim from here. This is where my fridge is going to go. I did not finish my trim over there. I know it. I'm just going to leave it. This is my countertop, and this all needs to be on the right pin layer, and then you just finish it out from here. The point is using known information from the plan, which would be you would know that this is 9 feet tall, and industry standards like countertops are typically at 36 inches, toe kicks are at 3, doors are typically 6'8" in ceilings that are 8 or 9 foot. Things like that, you can use that information to figure out where all this goes, and then you design what goes in there. So this window, we can figure out, is it 6 inches above the countertop? How high does it go? How much light do we want in this space? How do we create a beautiful space? Okay, that's enough for this video. Hope that helps.